and welcome to Stevenage Golf and Conference Centre. My name is Matt Bannister, I'm the PGA head professional at this site. What I wanted to do today, guys, is show you the new teaching bay, and we're going to start off with today's video and we're going to do a gapping session. So follow me and let me show you around the teaching bay. So we're in the studio today. The great thing about being in here, we've got two options. We can hit directly into the screen, or we can open up the shutter and hit some shots out onto the driving range. Whichever way we choose to do it, we can get the information on the screen behind us here. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do a gapping session. What I'm going to do is work my way through the bag, and then we'll just discuss the results at the end of it. And you can see how a gapping session or distance measuring session can really improve your game and get your handicap down a lot quicker than maybe you would think. So the great thing about the simulator here at Stevenage Golf and Conference Centre is that we can use real golf balls. So the golf ball I normally play with is Pro V1, and that way I'll get the exact information that I would do when I'm out on the golf course. The idea behind the gapping session is to hit an average of sort of 4 or 5 good shots so that we can get a decent representation of what we're actually doing out in the golf course, and then we'll work out the average and we can see what we're hitting with each club. I'm going to start off with my 58-degree wedge. I'm going to work my way up the bag and then we'll discuss the results at the end. So what I'm going to do here is just going to delete the first shot hit with the 7-iron. I didn't quite get it, and you can see the numbers are a little bit down compared to the other 3 that I hit. So just throwing my average out a little bit. So I'm just going to delete that shot because it wasn't as good as the other 3. It's just throwing the averages out a little bit. Got a nice little draw going on today, so all the shots like that. A little bit of draw, crossing the target line, which is a good being picky. What draw is meant to do, but quite happy with the ball flight today. So we're into the 5-iron now. So the first 4-iron hit there was a long way left compared to the other ones, but actually the numbers haven't, apart from the side spin, haven't really done much damage to the average that I was hitting. So I'm going to leave it in there because it's not really throwing anything out in regards to my average. So I'll jump up from 4-iron to 2-iron. I've got the tightest TMB, which I just prefer hitting the long irons to the high average. It's just a personal preference. So let's just see what this does. My 3 now. I've got the Type 915 FD, hoping to replace it when the new ones come out. I've got it set to A4, which is to add a bit more loft. So this is playing at about 16.5 degrees. So here we can see the results of my gapping session. Started off with a 58-degree wedge, working my way up. It's great to see that my gapping is moving up on increments of sort of 10, 12, 15 yards, which is always good to see. And the image in the top right-hand screen, you can see the grouping of where my ball has landed. So nothing's overlapping, and there's some nice spacing in between each shot. Also, what's really pleasing, especially for this session, is that I know it's a consistent session because all my ball speeds are within some very tight parameters. So you can see there less than 1 mile per hour deviation from the 58, less than 1 mile an hour on the 52. So all the shots on this page are showing very consistent ball speed, which is then reliable information that I can take into what my carry distances are with the clubs that I've just hit. Now I'm more interested in the carry distances rather than the total distance. This is mainly because the irons that we're going to be hitting, I'm generally going to be hitting into a green. So I want to know how far it is to the flag and how far I carry it onto the green, because generally when you hit the ball onto the green, the bounce that you get is more consistent than you might do if you hit it into the fairway or the fringe. So it's very important that I'm worried about my carry distance rather than my total distance. Now once we get into the longer irons and the woods and the drivers, I'm concerned with both the carry distance and the total distance. Now this is because, for example, if I'm hitting my driver, you can see that my average carry is 273 through the air. So if there's a fairway bunker out at 275, for example, I know that my driver carry will go straight into that bunker. So I might then look at a shorter club, so say my 3-wood or my 2-iron, that I know I can stand there and commit to the shot, but I'm not going to carry it into the hazard. Also, I need to know how far the total distance is with the longer irons and the longer clubs in the bag. And this is because I obviously want to know how far it runs out. So if there is a hazard at, say, 300 yards, I know I can stand there and hit my driver and be short of that hazard at 300 yards. Another great example of how a gapping or distance measuring session can help you is it can help you fit the bag better. And by that I mean selecting the right clubs to fit the right gaps. You can see in my bag here, my clubs, they all move up at regular intervals of sort of 12 to 15 yards, and there's no clubs that overlap. But I meet a lot of golfers where their 5-iron and 4-iron doesn't go any further than, say, their 6-iron. So it's a great example where we could stop the longest club or the longest iron in the bag at a 6-iron, and then move into some hybrids with some different lofts to then start meeting the needs of the gapping through the longer clubs in the bag. Finally, an image of some PGA Tour averages of some numbers from gapping through the players on the PGA Tour. And I've put this on there for a reason, is that one of the things that really interests me when I play with a lot of amateur golfers is the distance they think they hit the golf ball. Many a time I've heard that players stand there and hit their pitching wedge 150 yards. Well, if you're hitting your pitching wedge 150 yards, you're hitting it much further than the guys on the USPGA Tour. So don't think how far you hit your clubs. Come and see us, book a gapping session, and we'll tell you exactly how far you hit the golf ball. And that way, the next time you go out on the golf course, 1, you'll know how far you hit the golf ball, and 2, you'll stand over the golf ball with the confidence that you know how far you're hitting it and not worrying, is it too much or too little golf club. If you like the video, guys, please make sure you like in the box below, and also you can follow me on other media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. You can also follow Stevenage Golf on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just search @Stevenage Golf.